Attention, this is a matter of national security. After a meteorite crashed into the New Jersey Turnpike, the following digital audio transmission from the You Watch I Listen podcast was intercepted by NASA scientists in the year 2019. The You Watch I Listen podcast is about to start. Sit down, listen close, and try not to die. The You Watch I Listen podcast starts now.
So again, this is episode 76, You Watch, I Listen, heading into week 10 of the NFL season. So as the record stands now, Josh has been in the lead since week 1. Coming into week 10, I have now surpassed you in the standings. I am standing at, I went 10-4 last week. I'm now 84, 49, and 1. I have a 2-game lead on you, Josh. You went 7-7, 82, 51, and 1. And Taylor, oh boy, you got ground to make up. At least to catch Josh, you're behind by 4 games of Josh, and you were behind 6 games on me. You were at 78, 56, and 1 after going 6-8 last week.
Rough.
I was thrilled this past Sunday because my Miami Dolphins made sure they won't go down as one of the only 3 teams to never win a game. You knew they were going to win a game. The way they'd played the last few weeks, like you had to figure they were going to win a game eventually, right?
Yeah.
They seem to get better each week.
And I'm so happy it was the Jets.
Oh, dude, you had to know how I felt. Like watching that game, how thrilled I was that they beat the Jets. Are you all right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Sorry, we're amateurs here, and we're gay. Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
So yeah, I was thrilled we beat the Jets. The score wasn't even as close as the final score indicated because they just kicked the shit out of them. It was wonderful. The Jets scored on their opening drive, and then from there it was just a struggle. It's great seeing Adam Gase struggle like he is. Great job, Jets. Great job, Jets fans, for having hope coming into this season. To think that your team was going to be good. I want to give a heartfelt thank you, because every time you guys have hope and it just crumbles in front of you, I gain like an extra year. I'm like the Grinch. My heart just grows 3 sizes bigger, and I love watching your misery.
Yep.
And I hope you guys get We Are Marshall.
My favorite thing about how bad the Jets are is just watching what Quaz has to say about it.
Well, Quaz hates everything that isn't Tom Brady. Like, it's the only quarterback he ever compliments is Tom Brady, which is funny for a Jets fan. So, big fuck you to Quaz. All right, why don't we get into these picks? I got Taylor's picks. I will read them off. I'll probably ask you to give your picks first.
Okay.
So, because we're so bunched up now, and I want to see if we had any differences, and no one's picking picks just to stay ahead or get ahead.
Yep.
Okay, so the first game, Thursday night game, the Los Angeles Chargers at the Oakland Raiders. Chargers coming off a surprising upset victory at home against the Green Bay Packers, where another game, I think the final score was 25-11, wasn't even that close. They scored, the Packers didn't score their first touchdown until like 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And the Raiders coming off a really, really impressive win over the Lions. They held on late. Josh, the Chargers are 1-point favorites, by the way, on the road.
This is a tough one. But I am going to take the Raiders.
Okay. Any reason in particular?
Again, it's tough. It's a divisional matchup.
Is it not trusting the Chargers as much, too?
It's a little bit that. They've got some controversy this week, which I'm sure is
yeah,
always,
the London Chargers. Sounds great.
Anytime that your team is involved in any kind of controversy and there's noise and
there's questions sure.
are getting asked and the players are getting asked questions and they're getting frustrated. Both teams won last week. The Raiders are home, divisional game.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to take the Chargers. It's not that much of a road game. It's Los Angeles to Oakland.
Yeah, that's
to be
true.
fair. It's not like you have to travel for it. And I'm taking them solely based on the fact that the Chargers have shown this thing over, especially with Phillip Rivers, where they start out terribly and they tend to play better down the stretch. As much as I don't trust the Chargers, I don't trust the Raiders either. They seem even more like the team that after they have this win where they held on late, this emotional victory, they're going to come out flat the next week.
Yeah.
It seems like Melvin Gordon's starting to get going, which to me is a big factor. The Raiders have been better than I expected this year so far. I mean, they're 4-4. It's not like they're fucking world beaters, but they're in the hunt.
Yeah.
But the Chargers are still in the hunt. I think Phillip Rivers is going to have a good game against the Raiders secondary. I expect a huge game from Austin Eckler as well in the receiving game. So yeah, I'm taking the Chargers. So we got that one different so far. The next game is the Kansas City Chiefs at the Tennessee Titans. Chiefs confirmed Patrick Mahomes is back this week. Despite that, they beat the Vikings. Taylor picked the Vikings, and I said from the beginning, you can't trust Kirk Cousins against good teams. No. And Matt Moore played great. Tyreek Hill played great. The Chiefs defense played very, very well down the stretch. And now they're facing a Titans team coming off a loss. Ryan Tannehill played all right again, but he had his typical game where he just has those inexcusable turnovers, can't sense pressure. But he's played really well in the 3 games he started. He's 2-1. Josh.
Yeah, you got to take the Chiefs here.
Yeah, I think they're going to be fired up with Mahomes back. Now that their defense is playing a little bit better after getting back-to-back losses, they're going to be fired up to have him back out there. I expect Sammy Watkins is getting better and better each week, healthier and healthier. So we're all Taylor also, by the way, Taylor took the Raiders and he's taking the Chiefs as well. So finally, he's taking the fucking Chiefs. I think he's picked against them every week the last
He just wants them so bad to be not good.
How angry will he be if they win the Super Bowl?
Oh. Most.
Okay. Next game, the Buffalo Bills at the Cleveland Browns. Browns are 3-point favorites at home, amazingly enough. Bills coming off a win over the Redskins, and the Browns coming off a really bad loss against the Broncos, where the Browns seem more interested in the fucking cleats they're wearing than they are in playing games. Shows a lack of leadership from the coaching staff, a lack of leadership from the players on the field. Really disheartening from such a talented team on paper. Josh.
I am taking the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, and I think that's I'm surprised they're underdogs.
Yeah.
I think that's the safe pick. I guess it's not if they're underdogs.
The defense is good over there, man. And it's just...
It is a good defense. I don't think it's a great defense. I think it's a solid, pretty damn good defense. My issue is I think they're a team that isn't going to travel well.
Mm-hmm.
Defense tends to travel well, but my issue is the offense, and I think that's what's not going to travel well. Not like the Browns are doing anything special, but if you look at who the Bills have beaten, they won this. They beat the fucking Redskins and a rookie in Dwayne Haskins, who only got his first team reps this week. So now they're going to be, not that Baker Mayfield's doing anything to rave about this year. None of that offense is doing anything to rave about. Mm-hmm. Kareem Hunt's back this week. I think that's a big factor in this as well. The Browns are going to have a couple games, and you said this coming into the year, so all credit to you, where they're going to look like, oh, maybe they got it. Maybe they got it. I think they're going to do that in this game. I think it's a letdown game for the Bills, and Taylor is also taking the Browns. The next game is the Arizona Cardinals at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Both teams coming off losses. Tampa Bay probably should have beaten Seattle. They had them right there, but their defense can't do anything. And Jameis Winston, even when he plays well, it's not good enough because if he plays well, the defense doesn't. And if he doesn't play well, the defense is great.
Yeah.
So, Josh.
I'm going to take the Cardinals.
The Cardinals, okay. Taylor also took the Cardinals, and I thought about it at first. And again, the Bucs to me are one of the hardest. They're very similar to me, even though they have 2 less wins than the Titans, but they're very similar. Where I don't know what is going to show up. The good Jameis Winston, the bad Jameis Winston. The good Bucs defense, the bad Bucs defense. But I think that they have enough offensive firepower to run up the score a little bit against a poor Cardinals defense. And I don't think Kyler Murray, as good as he's been this year, I don't think he's ready to keep up with the Bucs. This is a tough one. I mean, the Bucs are fucking 4.5-point favorites at home. I mean, you get 3 for being home, but are the Cardinals are a better team, I would say. They look like a better team so far. So you guys are taking the Cardinals, and I'm taking the Bucs. All right, guys, this is the Inept Bowl. The toilet bowl, the shit bowl, the garbage bowl. New York sports fans, New York football fans, your teams suck. And this week, they get to go head-to-head. This is better than the Snoopy Bowl. This is better than Death Row because you're going to get to see pure dog shit on the football field. What am I doing to my mic?
Just mess around with it a little bit.
I got to change out the wire. I see what the problem is. Okay. So 2 of the worst teams in the league. One quarterback that should promise at the end of last year has regressed entirely. One quarterback who played great in game 1 has regressed entirely, and he's a rookie, so I'm way more forgiving on it, but he has major ball security issues. I mean, I think he has 12 total turnovers and 13 between interceptions and fumbles, which is just really the fumbles are more concerning to me than the interceptions. The interceptions can be cleaned up, but the way this kid fumbles, Daniel Jones is a problem. Your teams suck. bad, really bad. And don't be like, oh, the Dolphins aren't much better. You guys have one more win than the Dolphins. Congrats. The Jets traded Leonard Williams to the Giants. And I had people telling me, oh, he's great. He's great. Yeah, he had a fucking great showing in his first game. 3 tackles, none for a loss. Woo. He's a fucking bust at 6 overall. You think you guys could have gotten him in free agency and said you gave him a 3rd-round pick for a guy that has, I think, 17 total sacks in his career. Great. Who are you taking in this dog shit?
Who is the technical home team?
The Jets.
Then I'm taking the Giants.
If I said the Giants, would you have taken them?
If you said the Giants were the technical home team, I would have taken the Jets.
Okay.
Because it's such a thing to happen to Jets fans that they would win the game when their season ticket holders aren't there.
That's true. That's a really good point. Yeah, I'm taking the Giants. So is Taylor. It's the Giants are slightly less shit. Like, they're shit, but the Jets are diarrhea shit. The Jets are pure diarrhea shit. Like, they're like, you just had a lot of Taco Bell the night before and you wash it down with like 12 Coronas. You got an enema and just fucking duties coming out. That's the Jets.
Yeah.
The Giants are that like shit like where you held it in a little too long and you sit down and it just all comes out and you're like, oh, that felt nice. And it's like a 2 wiper. The Jets are like a 6 wiper. You guys you're both garbage and you're garbage fans too. So fuck you. I don't know why I have so much venom for New York football fans, but the Jets fans have a sense of entitlement, and they shouldn't. They really shouldn't. No. And the Giants fans, they think that they're like the fucking Patriots and the Steelers. You guys have been a great fucking franchise, but I don't feel bad for you the same way I don't feel bad for Yankee fans. No one feels bad for you motherfuckers. You guys have won 2 fucking Super Bowls in my life in the last fucking this millennium. This millennium. You guys won 2 before that. You guys won one in the 90s, one in the 80s. Fuck you. Fuck you is right. You've won 3 while I'm alive. You fucking dick suckers. Dude, stop thinking that every player you get is going to be great. I remember you guys did this with fucking you thought Jabril Pepper was going to place Landon Collins. He sucks. You thought Sterling Shepard would be fine without OBJ. He has a fucking headache and he can't fucking play. You guys fucking stink. The only one good, Saquon, and he's awesome. And you're gonna waste him like you did, like the Lions did Barry Sanders. And the Jets, fuck off. Fuck New York football. Talk to me. One of the teams is good, and they're not. I can't talk. I don't shit talk the Patriots. You guys can't shit talk the Eagles. You can't. You can shit talk the Cowboys maybe, but not right now. You can't. They're a better team, and they have been for a while now. I know they don't have a Super Bowl, but they are clearly a far superior team to you, and your ownership sucks now. Sorry. They don't know what they're doing. Wellington Mara is not there. Sorry. All right, Josh. Atlanta Falcons at the New Orleans Saints. What do you think the spread is on this game?
I'm going to say that the Saints are probably 17.5-point favorites.
12.5-point favorites.
Okay.
I saw a teacher in New Orleans is teaching their students math by making fun of how much the Falcons suck. If the Saints beat the Falcons by this score, go ahead, give me your take on this game, please. You have very good Falcons insight.
The Saints are probably going to win this game.
Hey, they're coming off a bye week. They didn't fire their coach, the Falcons.
Yeah, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't thing. Because I know the Saints are going to win,
but you don't want to pick the Saints?
That when I say I pick the Saints, the Falcons are going to win. So what do I do? What the fuck do I do?
I mean, this would be your chance to make up ground on your own team. Hey, didn't I tell Taylor to pick the Dolphins last week and he picked the Jets?
Yeah.
If he did that, he would have the same record as you and he would have only game behind. But cunt. So?
I'm taking the Saints.
And so is Taylor. He's also taking the Giants here. The Falcons just don't have the talent. They don't. I know they have talent. They don't have enough talent. They have like 2 great skill position players.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll say 3 in Hooper and Ridley and Jones, obviously. And outside of that, I don't think they have great position. Devontae Freeman is fine. Yeah. I don't think he's a great player. He's a good player. He's a good player. On a great team, he's a great player, right? On a bad team, he's a good player. He's a guy that might burn you a game. If you leave him a chance, he could do it. Fine, sure. Every team has a guy like that. They're professional football players. Bums score touchdowns. You know what I mean? But the Saints are still, to me, even though the 49ers are the last undefeated team, the Saints are the best team in the league. They've beaten better teams without Drew Brees. That's the crazy thing. They did it without Drew Brees for how long? And now this motherfucker's back. He was great in his first game back. Now he has a bye week, another week of rest. I think he's going to shred him. I think they're going to win by 20. Probably
I
right.
can see it. I can see it.
Okay, the next game, I think everyone. I'm surprised this isn't the biggest spread of the week. Your game is the Baltimore Ravens at the Cincinnati Bengals. I told y'all motherfuckers the Ravens were going to beat the Patriots.
You did?
It went exactly like I thought it would.
It went exactly like I thought it would too.
And you picked
funny
them
enough.
anyway. And you picked the Patriots anyway.
Yeah.
The Ravens are 10-point favorites at home. The Bengals are terrible. They're terrible. They benched Andy Dalton on his fucking birthday. That's my favorite shit. And that's another one. I wish I could pull up the soundbite where Taylor was telling me how good Andy Dalton is in the beginning of the year. Benched on his fucking birthday. Lamar Jackson is fucking awesome in the MVP conversation. He'll never be the best passer in the league, but he could be one of the best players on the football field every single Sunday. He's not as fast as Vic, but he's quicker. Those little jukes and in and out cuts.
Yeah.
He'll never have an arm like Vic, but he's already a better passer than Vic was accuracy-wise. And John Harbaugh, to me, is one of the best coaches in the league because unlike what a lot of coaches do, rather than try to fit the player to the system, he made the system fit the player. And he made this offense. I mean, the way they ran those 3 tight end sets against the Patriots was absolutely brilliant. There is a fear here of a letdown, even though the Bengals are terrible, but a really emotional victory against the Patriots where they proved like we're here, divisional game, on the road. That has the ingredients for that. Usually, but the Bengals are void of talent. I'm pretty sure you're taking the Ravens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Taylor's taking the Ravens, so easy. Next game, the Carolina Panthers at the Green Bay Packers. Panthers with a nice bounce-back win. Green Bay with that terrible loss to the Chargers. Josh.
Yeah, I am going to take the Panthers here.
The Panthers, really? Please elaborate.
Christian McCaffrey is playing out of his mind.
He's offensive player of the year right now for me.
Heartbreaking loss for the Packers last week.
I don't want to call it heartbreak. I would say it's like a devastating loss because heartbreaking is like you had the lead at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Like Fail Mary was a heartbreaking loss, right?
Yeah.
This was like, where the fuck were you? And it's like it was all Packers fans at the game, and they came out completely flat.
Yeah. I just think it they had the bad game last week. They're going to look to bounce back this week. But that's a tough task against an offense that's playing this well with a player that's playing this out of his mind.
A very good defense on the Panthers, too, and they're very well coached. Ron Rivera is one of the more underrated coaches in this league, I would say. He's a very, very good coach. His teams, rarely you see them I know they get blown out by the 49ers, but very, very rarely. Very game team, very physical team. Despite that, I'm going to take the Packers. I see them as this is a kind of a bounce back game. They go home. I think teams like them that were kind of rolling, they need those losses. You see that with the Patriots all the time. They always have those 1 or 2 losses where you're like, is this it? Is this it? And then they roll out another 6 wins in a row. I think I have a hard time believing that the Packers are going to only score 11 points in back-to-back games, especially at home now. Even though there was more, Packers fans there, Carolina now has to go up to cold Lambeau. I think that's going to make a big difference. Kyle Allen, he played well this past week, but he threw another interception. I think the Packers defense is going to force at least 2 turnovers. One of them is going to go for a touchdown. So I'm taking the Packers. Taylor's also taking them. Next game, the Detroit Lions against the Chicago Bears and Mitch Bisky, Mitch Trubisky is terrible. And I got shit from my friends last year when I said I still didn't think he was that good, even though he had a good year. I saw the scheme. You could see it through the warts. Jared Goff, I don't think is great, and he's significantly better than Mitch Trubisky. I think going into this the end of the first half, he was like 3 for 9 for 30 yards or some shit. Like, dude, you can't complete a screen. And if you are throwing screens, he's not hitting them. Like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And it's a really good defense. Like, this is a team that realistically is a quarterback away from being a serious contender. But the problem is, when you miss on a first-round quarterback, you fuck everything up.
Yeah.
For years. The Lions just lost to the Raiders, as we said earlier. The Bears, they lost to the Eagles. And they made it close at the end, but this is what they do every time. The team that the Bears offense is playing, the defense takes their foot off the gas, and then, the Bears might be coming back, and then they're like, all right, let's play again. This kid can't do anything if we're trying, and sure enough. It's like, I don't know. The Lions, I think, are better than their record shows, but their record is what it is. They seem good enough to play close, only to lose, and they lose in heartbreaking fashion. The Lions lose better in heartbreaking fashion than anyone.
Yeah.
So who are you taking in this one? The Bears are home, and they're 3-point favorites.
I'm going to take the Bears.
The Bears. Okay. You figure they got to get one eventually?
Awful. God awful.
He's fucking trash.
I like how Matt Stafford's been playing. I think he's been playing great. He's keeping that team together.
Yeah, and that's what was crazy at the end of the Raiders game. They kept their two best fucking wide receivers off the field on the last play, which I don't understand what Matt Patricia was thinking.
Yeah.
But I agree with you.
But going into this game, going into Chicago, divisional game. I
was a little torn. I thought about taking the Bears because I'm like, their defense is going to win them a couple games, right? And Mitch is going to have a couple games. You're like, oh, this kid's turning a corner, and then he's going to have another game where he's terrible.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take the Lions. I think just because, like you said, Matthew Stafford is playing so well, he's going to be able to put up enough points. And that I don't trust Mitch Trubisky to have to come back from it. Even if the Bears defense plays well, the Lions to me are good for 24 points. And I don't think Mitch Trubisky is capable of rallying his team to 25 points.
Yeah.
So I'm taking the Lions. Taylor is also taking the Lions. Next game, Miami Dolphins at the Indianapolis Colts. Dolphins coming off their first win over the Jets. The Colts coming off a really tough loss to the Steelers where Jacoby Brissett was knocked out with an MCL sprain. Brian Hoyer played pretty damn well. The backbreaking and the difference in this one was a 96-yard interception return from Minka Fitzpatrick and the missed field goal at the end from Adam Vinatieri. My team, I'll go first on this one, obviously. Despite that, I'm going to take the Colts. I think that this is the kind of game that the Colts could lose because, it sounds like Brissett's going to play right now. You got to wonder about the mobility, and the Dolphins tend to struggle with mobile quarterbacks. But the things the Colts do really well are the things that the Dolphins struggle with when they're good. Physical offensive line, physical defensive line, and fast linebackers. They have to bounce back. They have to keep up with the Texans in their division. So I think the Colts will get this one. I think they're well coached enough that they can, they should have beat the Steelers. They should have. And the Steelers defense is pretty good. The Dolphins defense is not pretty good. They're pretty bad, although they have played better. I think since their bye week, they're like 12th in total defense, which is fucking crazy to me. So I'm going to take the Colts against my Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Colts too.
Yeah, I think it's pretty well said. This isn't the Jets the Dolphins are playing. This is a well-coached team with a lot of talent and talent that plays above their head as well. Yeah. And Taylor's also taking the Colts. Next game, this is a good game. Los Angeles Rams at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Rams 3.5-point favorites on the road. Rams coming off their bye week. Steelers coming off that win over the Colts. Josh,
I'm going to take the Steelers here.
Okay.
Riding high off of victory. And they are creating turnovers.
Yes, they are.
They are
very
creating
high level.
turnovers, and Jared Goff is not the kind of guy that I see avoiding those turnovers. He's going to throw a pick. He might get sacked a couple of times. Depending on how many snaps Todd Gurley plays, his backups might get forced to fumble or two.
Sure. Okay, so for the exact reasons you just said is the reason I'm taking the Rams, and specifically, worried about Todd Gurley's workload. They're coming off a bye week. This is the week that you use him. This is you really have to keep up with both the Seahawks and the 49ers in your division now. This is a must-win for the Los Angeles Rams, despite it being out of conference and not in the division, obviously. I think coming off the bye, they're going to come out very energetic. Despite the Steelers' defense being very, very good, I think that the Rams' offense is good enough. I think Cooper Kupp has been playing fantastically this year. I think he's going to have a big game. I think Gurley's going to have a really big game. I do think that I could definitely see the Goff turnovers being a problem because the Steelers' defense, specifically in the secondary, is very, very fast thanks to Minka Fitzpatrick, and he's playing at a very high level. But I'm going to take the Rams. I think that the kind of game where they're going to score points and the Steelers will have trouble keeping up with them, and Taylor is also taking the Rams. The Monday night or Sunday night game. This is a good NFC matchup. The Minnesota Vikings coming off that loss to the Chiefs against the Dallas Cowboys coming off a win over the Giants at MetLife Stadium. The Cowboys are 3-point favorites at home. Josh.
I'm going to take the Cowboys.
Yeah. I'm also taking the Cowboys. Taylor is taking the Vikings. I think he's taking the Vikings every single week.
He really has.
Yeah, he has. Taylor, you can argue with me about this another time, but you've been a Kirk Cousins fanboy since Washington. I remember you wanted him on Denver, and I said he's okay. Like he's not a bad quarterback, but he certainly isn't a good quarterback. He is what I would call a serviceable quarterback. He is a step above Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
Right, dude. He only has 5 wins in his career. He's now 5-27 against teams that have above 500 .500 records. He has one win in his career in a primetime game. Or no, two, sorry. He won a Thursday night game. Excuse me. He has two primetime wins. He does great when the pressure's on. The Cowboys are a good team. They're not a great team. They're a good team. The Vikings are a good team. They're not a great team. They're not a good road team at all. You saw that against the Chiefs. You know, you look at Kirk Cousins' numbers, you're like, oh, he threw 3 touchdowns. He was 19 for 38. 50% of his passes. That is not efficient. Don't talk to me about the touchdowns. When you complete only 50% of your passes, you're almost always going to lose that game. Yes, the defense blew it late. But no, Kirk Cousins wasn't efficient enough to keep his offense on the field and keep the Chiefs and a backup quarterback off the field. They couldn't use the fucking Colts formula that worked to perfection. It just did not work, and I don't think they're going to be able to do it here. I think the Cowboys, they did everything they could to lose against the Giants, and they still won. They poured it on late. And they have to be more careful against the Vikings because the Vikings defense isn't bad. I don't want to shit on the Vikings defense. They did nothing wrong. I don't want to shit on Dalvin Cook. He's done nothing wrong. Or what's Stephon Diggs. Mm-hmm. But Kirk Cousins has shown in these games he cannot be trusted because he's not that good. Cowboys all the way for me. Cowboys for Taylor, or Vikings for Taylor, and Cowboys for you, Josh.
Yeah.
Okay. Monday night game of the week. Fantastic game. Big divisional matchup. The Seattle Seahawks front-running MVP and your New York Yankees second baseman Russell Wilson against the final undefeated team in the NFL, Jimmy G and the San Francisco 49ers. Joshua.
All right, so a little bit of a backstory here. I talk about this from time to time. On the 49ers, there is a guy who is the head coach. His name is Kyle Shanahan.
Really? Tell me about Kyle Shanahan.
Kyle Shanahan is the former offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons.
What year was he last the offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons?
That would be 2017.
And how did that?
16?
What was the last?
I don't remember.
What was the last game that he coached? 2016, because 2017 is the year the Eagles won. 2016.
Yeah.
What was the last game that he coached for the Falcons?
That would be Super Bowl 51.
And what happened in that game?
They blew a 28-3 halftime lead to the New England Patriots to go on to lose in the first ever overtime Super Bowl.
Yeah, and James White scored the last touchdown.
He did. He's on my fantasy team, and he's doing great.
Okay, so Kyle Shanahan.
He's leading this team to the currently undefeated season that they're having.
Sure.
They're the only remaining undefeated team in the NFL. He's got a beautiful man in Jimmy Garoppolo.
He's a beautiful man.
Playing quarterback for him. He's got a former Atlanta Falcon in Tevin Coleman playing running back for him, and he is playing well right now.
And Matt Breida as well. Very physical running game.
As a Atlanta Falcons fan, this has all the makings of a team that's going to go 19-0. But luckily, coming into this game, there is a man.
Tell me about this man.
This man is my MVP.
Oh, okay. What else is he?
He is the number one quarterback in the NFL right now.
Okay. What else is he?
He also happens to be your New York Yankees second baseman, Russell Wilson, gonna win MVP, gonna win this game, gonna put the 49ers on their back for the first time this year and give them that first loss. I'm picking the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay. Taylor is taking the 49ers, and I, too, am taking the Seattle Seahawks. As great as the 49ers have been this year, and I want to stress that they have been great, their offense has not been one that's been lighting up the field. They put up 50 on Carolina, I know, and Jimmy G's played pretty damn well. He hasn't played great. You look at his numbers, they're good. He's been a step above what they label a game manager. I hate that phrase, game manager, but he's been a step above. He hasn't had to do everything because the offense isn't built like that. This is a game where he's going to have to do a lot more on offense, unless the San Francisco 49ers completely shuts down Russell Wilson, which I don't think will happen. I know they're only allowing, it's crazy. The 49ers defense is only giving up, I think, 187 passing yards per game, which is fucking wild. And Richard Sherman looks like Richard Sherman again. But despite that, Russell Wilson does things that other quarterbacks can't do. He's the best deep passer in the league. He has the best escapability, I would say, in the league. He's extremely hard to bring down. He moves around the pocket well. He creates the broken play for a big play very, very well. Josh Gordon looks like he's playing this week for the first time. Just another wrinkle to the offensive game. I think the Seahawks are going to be extremely motivated to win this game. I think this is a game, if you took that Legion of Boom defense and Legion of Boom teams against this 49ers team, they lose it because that defense didn't travel as well. But I think the fact that this is a Russell Wilson offensively led team now, that they're going to go on the road, they're going to win this game on Monday night and show the 49ers that they're going to have to fight and win every single game down the stretch to keep this division and not fall back to a wild card. And Taylor's taking the 49ers. So we have a few different picks this week. I'm happy about. You and I seem to have the most most different ones this week. But yeah, really good. You're 2 games behind me. Taylor's 6 behind me. He's 4 behind you. Taylor, you got a lot of ground to make up, buddy, or you're going to be getting a really nice tattoo. All right, guys, this is episode 76 of You Watch, I Listen. Thank you, Josh, for sitting in the second chair today.
No problem.
The movie again this week was Peanut Butter Falcon. Album, Between the Buried and Me.
Between the Buried and Me, Coma
How did I
Ecliptic.
remember before you?
I don't know.
Okay, guys, we'll see you next week. Thanks. Peace.